Welcome to Daymaster Deposit LPT with Dr. B. I'm Dr. B. If you are watching this video on any of the other social media platforms other than the YouTube channel, please go to the bio, click on the YouTube link, go to the YouTube channel, send me your comments, likes, please subscribe. I'd love to hear from you. So this video is the third video in a series of 4 videos that I am completing to kind of help you, give you some systematic tools for breaking negative habits and creating positive habits. I like to put it in the reverse, creating positive habits and breaking negative habits. But in reality, you are breaking the negative habits by creating the positive habits. But I want the positive habit to attach itself into your mind's heart. And we've talked about the Trinity habit of change. And today we're going to, or in this video, we're going to talk about reprogramming, changing the habit action. And I do want to go back to, and again, this is really taken from my book, Live Your Life Purpose. But I do want to go back to the scripture that I've given out, Galatians 5:1. But this time I want to read from the New American Standard Bible. It says this: "It was for freedom that Christ set us free. Therefore, keep standing firm and do not be subject again to a yoke of slavery." It was for freedom that Christ set us free. For the purpose of freedom, the freedom to live in your purpose, and the freedom to not be yoked in your mind's heart by actions and habits that create negative consequences and or results in your life. And why is it necessary that you understand it was for freedom? Because formative teaching often creates what I call yoke situations, where you're yoked into what other people taught you to believe, taught you was acceptable behavior or actions. Even oftentimes while they themselves have experienced negative consequences, have experienced problematic consequences, did not experience peace and joy. It's sad how many testimonies are like that, where people live their entire lives and they're continually yoked in bondage, slavery, to unchanging mores, unchanging opinions, unchanging ideals from other people handed down to them, not realizing that for freedom, Christ made you free. Christ made us free for freedom's sake. What do you mean? So that you can be free to break a loose. He said, don't stand again in that yoke of slavery, that yoke of bondage. You can break free from that bondage, negative habit actions. And so we're talking about creating positive habits, breaking negative habits, and specifically here, reprogramming or changing what I call the habit action, because it's actions that create the habits. Repeated actions create the actions. So as you begin to work to change your habits, again, remember, because the enemy will tell you different things. He'll put things in your mind's heart from well-meaning people, friends, family. You have to be careful. But I want you to remember, changing the habit, it's not complicated. But the habit may be so entrenched that it is difficult to let it go. And I want to encourage you by letting you know these things that I teach to you, I live these. I live the principles that I teach. I live them, not overnight. I've lived them. Going on 30 years or more. These are principles that I live, that I've practiced, that I've studied, that I've learned, that I've taught. And I want you to understand that these are principles I have put into practice, and I know they work because they work for me. They have worked, they continue to work, and they will work for me. So as you begin to program to change the habit action, those negative habits, I want you to realize that you can do this. You don't have to be a superhero. You can do this. But according to a 2009, you had to pull that back up, a 2009 study published in the European Journal of Social Psychology, it takes anywhere from 18 to 254 days. You heard right, from 18 to 254 days for a person to form a new habit, to create a new habit. But the study also recognized that on the average, it takes a person approximately 66 days for a new behavior to become a habit. For a new behavior, for actions to become habitual or to become a habit. Approximately 66 days. So I created, in my book, I created what I call the 30 plus 10 equal 40 formula. And that's simply this. You take 30 consistent days of refusing to engage in the old negative habit, the habit that you want to break or change. 30 consistent days of refusing to engage in that habit. That's the discipline. That's the consistency. And then add 10 more days of performing the new habit. Because as you're refusing to engage in the old habit, you are engaging in the new habit. We'll talk about that in the next video. But then you take 10 additional days to perform the new habit action. I call it the habit action, remember? And you perform this habit action in front of other people, in front of others who are aware of your intentions, who are aware that you are reprogramming. That's accountability. Who are aware that you are in the process of reprogramming, recreating a new habit action. And I want you to remember what Paul says in Galatians, for freedom, Christ has made us free. He didn't just make us free in the abstract. He did it for a reason. So remember, we talked about the Trinity habit of change. So you're going to name the habit that you want to change. You're going to identify what triggers. So as you go through 30 days, 30 consistent days of not performing the old habit, the habit that you want to change, you recognize it, you know it's there, so you are intentionally not performing it, that you understand you're going to name that habit, but then you're going to identify what triggers that action. So that you are alert, because remember, your adversary, the enemy, he's going to come. He's going to seek you out. He's going to consistently try and trip you up. And even if you fail and fall, you just restart, because for freedom, Christ made you free. So you're going to identify, that's number 2, the triggers. What triggers that action that led to that habit? What triggers it? And then you're going to replace that old action with the new action. You're going to do that 30 days and then 10 days in front of someone, so that you can then have that become the new habit. Now remember, don't bite off more than you can chew. Just choose one. Just choose one. And if you find yourself being confronted with fear, I'm afraid of what it's going to look like when I change it. I'm afraid of what people are going to think. God has not given you a fearful spirit, but a spirit of power and of love and of sound mind, a sound mind spirit to do these things. So remember, you're programming, reprogramming, so that you can change the habit action. And in our next and final LPT, Day Master Deposit LPT, in this series, we're going to talk about accountability, strategy, obstacles, and dating the process, so that you can see the change taking place. You can see how it works. You don't have to spend years. Years have already been put into study. You can reap the rewards, just as I reaped the rewards of my mentor. The things that they taught me, I was able to build on that. You can reap the rewards and build on it. So I want to encourage you to begin reprogramming, to change your negative habit action, to create the positive habits by creating positive habit actions, actions that lead to your habit, positive habit, so that you can begin reaping positive results and say goodbye to the negative results as you move closer to your destiny. Meet me back here for the 4th final video in this series, Creating Positive Habits, Breaking Negative Habits. You can do this. Give me your comments. Let me know what you're thinking. Go master the day. Remember to be awesome. We are forever reaching.